My God. I just saw Infinity War, and wow, it was profound and just mind-blowing. I decided before seeing it that this was how I wanted to do my reviews. I wanted to record immediately a reaction review that is spoiler-free. And that's what I'm doing here. I'm going to be spoiler-free. I'm literally in my car, just walking out of the theater to see, having just seen this, and I will go home and edit and post it as soon as I can. And then I'm going to see the film again on Monday night and post a spoiler-filled analysis next week, because there's really no way to do a decent in-depth analysis without getting into specifics. But fear not, no spoilers here. Just wow. I want to start by addressing a couple of conflicting reports that I'd heard, because I myself looked up spoiler-free reviews from people who had gone to see the early previews, the premiere or stuff like that. And from some of those people, I heard that they were shocked to see that it really was more of a two-parter, it felt like, they said. Of course, Marvel Studios have said no, this was its own film, and then Avengers 4 was going to be its own film, not a two-part. But some reviewers said it very much felt like a two-part. Then other reviewers said, no, you could tell that it was setting up something, but this really felt like its own story. So what is my take on it after having seen it? Both. I think both are right. It really depends on what your definition of a complete story is. You know, it's taking place in a shared cinematic universe, so there's always things to happen next. But more questions than usual are left unanswered that we know are going to be answered in the next one. And it did set up, but at the same time, you did have a certain story arc that was definitely achieved in this film as well. So I think both on that front. The other conflicting reports that I had received is, even from a long time ago, Kevin Feige himself had been saying that they weren't going to pull any fooled yous, you know, that the deaths in this film were going to be real deaths. And then I'd also heard reports from common knowledge just about the Infinity War saga in the comics, and then also people who had seen the film or rumors from behind the scenes or whatever, saying that some of the deaths might not end up permanent. I think this is speculation too, because the behind the scenes photos from Avengers 4, people have, you know, that's out there, it's common knowledge, and a lot of the costumes and everything seem to be taking place back at the time period of the first Avengers movie, the Battle of New York with the Chitauri. So there's definitely some sort of possible time travel going on. So what is my answer to that? Well, you know, I think, again, both. There are some deaths that you just know are permanent, and they're shocking too. I was definitely shocked and surprised. But there are other deaths that you just know can't be permanent. Yeah, I think both. Both of those answers are correct. In terms of what I mean by the film being so profound and mind-blowing, honestly, I just saw the film. I know the plot. I know the story. I know everything that happens, and I'm still scratching my head thinking, how in the hell did Feige and the Russo brothers and just Marvel Studios in general, how did they pull this off? It's really impressive to have a film with this many characters in it, this many universe-altering things going on, really grand-scale stakes and battles, and all of that, yet you still don't feel like you were shortchanged at all by any of the characters, not even the villain. Thanos was incredibly impressive in this film, how they handled his story arc himself. Very impressed with that. And I've heard other reviewers say that, and they said this about Captain America Civil War too, that every character has their moment. It's an average length film, a little on the longer side, but it's certainly not director's cut Lord of the Rings or anything, you know. So it's got that certain time limit, but it's got so many characters. How could it actually treat them all fairly? And people say, well, each character has their moment. I want to go even farther than that and say that not only does each character have their moment, but each character is able to shine in that moment for really what they bring to the table that's most important. What is the most quintessential thing about their character, and what do they bring to the universe? And that's what they were able to exhibit in that moment. So that's really special. And that makes those moments very precious in a film where you can't have too many of them per character, or for all the characters anyway. They had their moments, but also each one of them had a little mini arc. None of them could steal the show, of course, because there are so many characters, but each character really had a nice arc, and things that happened in the beginning of the story with one character would come back up in the end of the story, even though they didn't have a lot of time on screen maybe. You sensed a certain growth in each character that was really amazing to see. And again, that's just really a mark of good storytelling and good time with the script and good time with the research and the understanding of the characters and really pouring a lot into the craft. I don't know why that's so hard for studios to do when they try to do these shared cinematic universes. I talked a little bit about that in my last video. I know some friends of mine were worried about what kind of tone was this film going to be now, because Marvel has done both very serious films and very lighthearted comedic films at this point. So how were they going to handle this? Were they going to go too far one way or the other, or just ignore one? And I'm happy to report that just typical Marvel brilliance in handling that. It very much reminded me, I mentioned Lord of the Rings already, but you remember the large battles at the end of Return of the King from those Lord of the Rings films. That's what it reminded me of, because you do have high stakes. You do have gut-wrenching, emotion-engaging things that are going on, and yet you can have a moment of brevity. You know, you can have Legolas and Gimli keeping score on the field, and you can have those little moments that bring a smile to your face and allow you to laugh and allow you to have that comic relief. So I'm really appreciated how that took place in the Avengers Infinity War as well. I'm just still blown away. It was so profound and so moving. The only thing I am enormously pissed off about is that I have to wait a year to see the next Avengers film. Of course, I don't have to wait a year to see another Marvel film. We do have Ant-Man and Wasp and Captain Marvel and those films coming out soon, which, as it's been said, and as it bears out after having seen the film, you know, people have said that those films are going to kind of bridge the gap a little bit in between the two Avengers films. So that's going to be cool to see how they do that. But wow, I can't wait to see Avengers 4. I know they've already filmed it, and same directors, same writers and everything. So it really will, even though this film felt like its own arc, they really will bring some even more completion to it and take us who knows where from there. Very impressive stuff. Do stay for the post-credit scene. People have been saying this already. There is one post-credit scene, so you don't have to kill your bladder too much. There's just one. And it is very cathartic, I would even say, after having watched the film, to see that scene. I think you need the post-credit scene. It's very much a part of the movie, I think. I think you need that. So definitely stay for that. I will tell you that there are a long amount of credits in between the end of the film and that post-credit scene. It really does come at the bitter end. It's not one of those sort of mid-credit scenes. So if you're just dying to hit the restroom or something, you can probably do that quickly and get back in time if it's the necessary thing. So, yeah, that's my reaction in just sort of a brief review in the moment of reacting to the film freshly. Wow. I mean, just as a storyteller and someone who has studied storytelling, has published his own stories, and really gets into the how-to of this and the craft and the art of it, I'm just blown away. I really am. Please definitely go see it. You owe it to yourself. If you're a superhero fan, this is an absolute must-see. So thanks for sticking around for the review. I apologize for the sound quality. I don't know if it'll come through on the mic, but it's raining outside and I have my car running. I will get this posted as soon as possible. Like I said, I will also see the movie again on Monday night and then post a more in-depth review next week sometime when people have had the chance to see the movie, or if you take a little while longer to see it, you can always go back and watch that video doing an analysis, because some really cool things were going on in the story and in the themes and in some ways that things were linked together into the character arcs and everything. I'm already starting to piece that together right now and I'm very impressed with it. So I look forward to seeing the movie again and really drawing all of that out and putting that in a video as well. Go see the movie. Until next time, keep enjoying and digging deeper into the superhero stories you love. Thanks for watching.